Boy, this sucks, doesn't it? I'll drink to that. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So this is not going to be anything real exciting today. I wanted to do my top favorite 5 of July before this month is over. Some of them may surprise you that I'm going to be picking out for my top favorite. I don't necessarily want to say they're my favorite because all my plants I have a special place in my heart for, but these are the ones that I've been noticing more in the month of July with growth and health and establishment in their roots, and just really more of my attention has been on them just because I'm like, ooh, look at that new growth. Oh man, that one's getting so big. Do you know what I'm talking about? I hope so. But I'm just gonna go over really quickly. I don't want this to be a super long video just because I'm on a time crunch. So let's begin. My number 5 of this month would be, let's start with this guy. So this is, all of you Hoya lovers are going to be like, oh my gosh. This plant has grown so much for me. It's been popping out leaves right and left. Now I tell everyone I'm not a huge go-getter for Hoyas, and not all of them catch my eye, but there are a few that I really want to add to my collection. But this is my Hoya pubicalis Splash. This was my first Hoya. It is beautiful. She's got beautiful white flecks inside of her leaves. Now to me they look white. They may be even more of like a silvery gray. I got this plant as a tiny rooted cutting from the plant farm. She never had this right here. She came in a 3.5 inch pot or a 2.5 inch pot. She was not this big. I believe I got her in the beginning of May is when I got her, or the end of April. Don't quote me for that one, but she's gotten big. I have been loving her. I've been like, wow, look at all this growth. I just really like the looks of her. I can't wait till she turns into a full-blown hanging basket. But this right now is number 5 on my list. So number 4 on my list is going to be another Hoya. I only have 4 Hoyas. I don't have that many like some people are avid Hoya collectors. This is another one I've noticed a ton of growth with. Now Hoyas are very prone to root rot, and they to me, what I have noticed, they love humidity. So I keep them inside of my office where I have my humidifier, and I spray them down every single night before I go to bed. Sometimes in the morning, just depends on how I feel and how much time I have. But this is my Hoya obovata. When I first got this plant, it did not have this leaf or this leaf, and it did not have, I thought there was two, yeah, there's another leaf right here, and then there's another leaf right at the very top. I hope you can see that. She's growing 4 new leaves for me. So all I've been doing, I let her dry out. I keep her in a humidified room and keep her in very bright indirect light. Now in the evening time, I let my Hoyas get a couple hours of direct sun. I just do. I know everyone has different care tips and what you should or should not do. This is what I do in Washington. I know people would be like, that's not how you take care of them, or you should do this, or you should do that. And I am guilty of shitting on people. Don't shit on people. So it's what's working for me, and my Hoyas seem to be loving it. Proof is in the pudding. So there you go. There's number 4 right there, my Hoya obovata. Number 3 on my list is going to be another philodendron. I have had philodendrons completely capture me. If I had to choose a plant genus to go with, it would be my philodendrons. Aroids all the way. They've just completely captured my heart, you guys. But number 3 on my list, my painted lady philodendron. When I first got her, she had 3 leaves on her. She had that one was the one that she came with. She came with this small one right here, and I believe this one right here. She's grown 1, 2, 3, and a 4th one on the way. I love her. When she first comes out, she's a very bright yellow color, which all of her leaves are pretty much hardened up into their green color. But that next one coming out is going to be a very bright yellow neon color, and then she hardens up to a limey emerald green. Then she has kind of a skin colored stem, not so much pink. I mean, it does go to the pink side, but I would call it more like a peachy, orangey, reddish. I don't know even what to even call it. I'm hoping the lighting is good enough for you to see the color of her. But this is my painted lady. She's number 3 on my list. So I do not talk about this plant very often. In the very beginning of this year, January or February, I ordered this plant. It was one of my first ones. I saw Christian from Crazy Plant, the Crazy Plant guy or Crazy Plant guy, not quite sure. He had this plant, and it was right at the beginning when it started becoming more and more known amongst us plant lovers. And I grabbed it up. When I first got it, I split it in half. Didn't like that. A month ago, I decided to put her back together because I have mentioned this many times before in previous videos that I love big, bushy, full plants that are just healthy and big looking. My Philodendron Brazil. And this plant is absolutely gorgeous. I love this. I've noticed more growth on this thing than I think the whole time I've had this plant. In my early on videos of my plant collecting, you will see this in almost every one of those videos at very early stages of that. But mine gets a lot of bright light. So the leaves, to me, some of them look more green. I have a lot of yellow in my Brazil, but then the sides that don't get as much sun, do you see all this yellow? There's a ton of yellow. I think if I was to take her out of such bright light, she would get a little bit darker in her leaves, which I think I might do. But my Brazil does not do well not being humidified. Like, how should I word that? In my tropical room where the humidifier is, this thing thrives and loves the heat, loves the humidity. And then once I bring it out to my living room or my kitchen, it shrivels up like it's dry. I don't know why it does that. It just does. But I mean, you can see new growth coming up on her everywhere. I love it. I love seeing her grow. I love seeing her happy. I really am noticing her more and more and more, and I can't wait till she trails and gets huge. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I kind of want to get one of those sconces or those plant holders where you put it against the wall and you place your plant in the wall, so it looks like the leaves look like big mounds of hair just growing out of your wall. This is what I want for that plant to be. So this is number 2 for my favorite or most attention for this month of July. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see or already know that this plant I bought this last weekend, just a few Saturday, I think it was Friday. Yeah. You all know that I have had struggles with my Monstera deliciosa. I got a very small starter plant in the beginning of this year, literally in January, February time, from a place called Secret Garden Rare Plants. It's a company based down in Florida. That deliciosa did not do well. I don't know if it was not a good plant to begin with and had root rot. I don't know if it's because I wasn't super secure in taking care of Monsteras. I don't know. But Monsteras and me do not mix. I have no idea why. But I want this plant. I think it's so beautiful. The leaves get huge, just like my Salome. Love my Philodendron Salome, even though I know it's not called that anymore. I can't think off the top of my head what it's called. I'll try to find Thaumatophyllum. That's what I think it's called. It's not really a Salome. They have redone the name or the genus of that plant for a Thaumatophyllum. I think that's what it's called now. Don't quote me, but I think that's right. I love that word, Thaumatophyllum. 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 I am such a nerd. Okay. My number one for this month, I haven't had her for very long at all, just this last weekend. And I'm uber happy about it. And I wanted to get one. I didn't want to get one that was completely at full size yet because I wanted to, I guess, prove to myself that I could take care of a Monstera and also prove to myself that I can do it and that maybe it's not just me or maybe I had a bad plant. I don't know. I also didn't want to get a full-grown one because I wanted to see it grow. There's something about watching your plants grow that I don't want to say like fulfills, but it brings a lot of appreciation and it brings a lot of joy to me and satisfaction watching my plants thrive and knowing that that's a part of my hands that were in that and taking care and cultivating that beauty and that growth that that plant is happy. I know I can talk a lot. I'm long-winded. So I got myself a brand new Monstera deliciosa. You guys, just a little bit of a story about this. First, let me say, she has a new growth, a new leaf coming through right there at the very bottom. And then she has another one close by, right inside there. Do you see that? This pot is heavy because I just watered her. But she has another one there. So there's two new leaves coming up. So there's 1, 2, and I think that's all that's coming up right now. So I was happy with it. I was fine. So a little bit of a story about my deliciosa. I was at my local nursery, Watson's. I'm going to take you on a shop with me there. It's a beautiful nursery. I love it. It's one of my favorites here in Washington. And I asked the front desk gal because I noticed that their deliciosas were all in like 5-gallon pots for $70. I did not bring $70 with me. And I was like, there is no way in hell that I'm buying a plant for $70 when I just saw the same size at Lowe's for $20. The ones at Lowe's, I waited too long. They all wilted and they all were torn up. It just was not a pretty sight. And if you get me, or if you're like I am, or I'm like you, I like my plants a little bit in nice shape or like the leaves nice and perky and they look healthy, not dead, dying, and torn up. That's just me, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I asked the front desk gal, I was like, do you guys have any smaller Monsteras? And she was like, no, I'm sorry, we sold all out of them. And so I was walking down the aisle, I was kind of looking at the Monsteras, and then I was looking at like the trio stars and the calatheas and philodendrons and some ferns, and then I don't know why, but I just happened to look over, and there on the floor, literally sitting right there on the floor next to me, was my Monstera. And at first I was like, I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, that's a Monstera right there. And I went and grabbed it. Believe it or not, I paid $20 for it. And I mean, that may seem like a lot to some people. It was $20. It was the only one. No torn leaves. She came just like she is. New leaves coming through and starting to unfurl. And I was like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get her. I got her, brought her home, let her sit for a couple days, and then I just repotted her yesterday. She was completely dry and she was starting to get those roots where they can start becoming root bound. And so I shook off all the dirt. I untangled all of her roots. She was dry, so I placed her in my new terracotta pot, not new terracotta pot, but a new pot. And I repotted her, watered her, and hopefully, keep your fingers crossed, she survives and she is happy. I have her sitting in an east facing window. She gets morning sun and she seems to be really liking it. The other one that I have her outside. She's actually doing pretty good, believe it or not. It's a last resort for me. I have her outside. She gets afternoon sun, which may be hot, but she seems to be chugging right along with my Xanadu, and it seems like it's helping her, to be honest. I was afraid of bugs, but I check her every day. I spray her every 10 days with a neem oil solution, and it looks like she's about to give birth. I don't know. It's just maybe something to do with being outside. But those are my top 5 favorite, more adored houseplants of the month. I hope you all enjoyed. I thank you all for watching and taking the time out of your busy days. Next month, I am super excited about the plants I'm going to be getting. It will be a plant haul that I have not done for a while, and there will be a very special unboxing next month as well, because I don't do as many of those anymore. I tend to have done a lot in the beginning of this year. I slowed down a little bit because I'm going to be focusing more on shelving, because fall is actually falling upon us. We're going into August. So I'm concentrating right now on shelving, grow lights. It gets very dark here in the fall time. And also buying new decorative pots, because I'm getting tired of looking at my nursery pots, and I want to be able to put my nursery pots inside of pretty pots. So I have really dialed it back buying plants, and I just don't want to go into debt to buying plants. So I love you all. Thank you for watching and joining me. I hope you all had a great July. I can't believe we're going into August. I love you all, and I will be talking to you soon. Have a beautiful week.